of Christ.
All right.
Go home and study this. Maybe the Lord will allow us to deal with this thing next week, but we're going to talk, and this is to be continued, but we're going to talk for the next 6 minutes from the subject, choose your weapons wisely.
All right.
Choose your weapons wisely. Choose your weapons wisely. First of all, let's just try to understand, because I only have a couple of minutes, and I'm really going to try to stick to the time schedule because the Lord has moved, but I don't want you to go home and hope that your dance carries you through the week.
Right.
Because what I need you to understand is that the enemy, if he sees you gaining strength, he's going to try to do something
And you know you're
to
right.
anger you.
You know you're right,
And
sir.
the problem that we have, and the truth of it is, the reason why we lose so many battles, in other words, we keep coming back to God for the same thing over and over again, is because we're warring with the wrong weapons. There's something wrong with our battle strategy. There's something wrong with how we deal with the fight that the enemy has actually brought to us. It's amazing because it would seem as if that we would be over certain things by now, certain things that have plagued our life for years. We feel like by now it should be over. But the truth of the matter is that until you change what you're fighting with, the enemy will always overtake you. Understand something. This is important because let's remember Goliath and David. Goliath is a huge man, about 9 feet, 9 inches tall. His shield is heavier than some men that he walks with. But the problem here is that David chooses his weapon wisely. He has an opportunity, if you would, to actually take the king's garment, the king's warfare outfit, the shield and the breastplate, and he even puts it on. But when he looks at himself, he knows that he's out of character. He actually knows that what he's wearing is uncomfortable and it doesn't fit. One of the worstest things you can do is put on a pair of shoes that's too tight and stay in them all day long. You've got to understand that when it does not fit, that means it's not for you. David, he recognizes that it's not fit. So he releases the garment or the warfare outfit that is given to him by the king. I find that to be amazing because the king was too scared to fight, but he was bold enough to give him his garment. In other words, go in my place and go as if you were me. But what you got to understand is that there are some things that when you do, you can't do as nobody else. You can't get involved in it. Using no one else's authority. David just simply finds 5 smooth stones that the water has constantly driven over. And what I find to be amazing is that the lion did not understand David's background or his history. I don't got time to preach this. I got to let you go. He does not understand David's history or his background, because if he did, he would have respected David a whole lot more than how he did. He looked at David and said, what y'all think this is? Am I some kind of punk? Not modern day talk. That you would send this boy out here to deal with me? What is this that you would send him with sticks on his staff, meaning sticks, that you would send him out here to fight a man of my caliber? But David explains to him, Goliath, them are your last words. Because when I leave here, I'm leaving with your head. I wish I had somebody. The problem is that Goliath never understood that David was a trained marksman. He did not understand that David dealt with the Benjamin tribe. The Benjamin tribe is simply the tribe that practiced marksmanship on a daily basis. David was taught how to use his slingshot even in battle situations. Some of you have heard this before. I've ministered this. You'll find out that the tribe of Benjamin would set the children's food on top of a stick or pole, and they could not eat until they knocked it off. This is where we actually, the weapon or the gun comes into play, because it's something that catapults, if you would, an object for destruction of the enemy. It actually originated from the slingshot. Can I talk to anybody? He was so good. There were different size slingshots, different rocks that you put in slingshots. That's why David had to find smooth stones, because the slingshot he was using needed a certain type of stuff. I deal with this some other time. It needed a certain type of stone. We want to get all technical. 5 stones for the 5 gifts. 5 stones for this. 5 means that. But that's beautiful. But the truth is, David knew what he was looking for, because he'd been trained what to use. I ain't got no help in here. And so now David takes one. He's so good until he actually sends this stone right there in the middle of Goliath's forehead. It doesn't hit him on the side, but it fits right where his helmet.
That's right.
Will actually open up. In other words, David found the weak place of a strong man. Can I talk to anybody? One stone was enough to put the greatest warrior of that season on his back. David was not a trained swordsman, but David knew how to use a slingshot. Baby, if you ever learn to choose your weapons wisely, there'll be no devil nowhere.
I love it. Yes, sir. Glory.
Preach in your own church. Preach, man.
You say you want to go.
2 Corinthians.
Yes,
I know when it's time to go really way back. 2 Corinthians.
I knew you was
I got 52 seconds.
I knew
And
you
the Bible declares.
You better wear it out.
knew it.
2 Corinthians is a book that's written by Paul. It's written to the church of Corinth, because church of Corinth stayed in all types of dilemmas and struggles, all type of issues. And you wonder why? Well, the answer is simple, because the church of Corinth was always letting false brethren into the church.